Hello and welcome back to My Guide to IL. My guide is designed to help you decide what is best and to try and show you how to get the most out of every ship. Now today, instead of talking about mechanics and stuff, I'm going to be breaking down the blueprints of two different types of ships, the Mare Tranquillitatis and the Raliat. They're somewhat similar, they're both 4 command points, they're both frigates, and they both shoot missiles or torpedoes and have cannons and that kind of stuff, so they probably fulfill a similar type of role, and they're both fairly common as you get them both out of the $7.99 starter box. They're both a 25% chance of getting them. I often get asked what's best or what's better, what not, questions similar to that. So I've done some testing and I'm going to try and show you the results and tell you why it's the case. So I'll do the blueprint breakdown, then I'll show you the data, and then we'll go through final thoughts and conclusions after that. And hopefully it helps you. We've tested against various quantities of armor and evasion, and so yeah, let's get into it. So here we are checking out the blueprint for the Raliat first. This is just the base variant. The other variants are probably better in most situations, but this is usually what would be pitted up against the Mare Tranquillitatis if we were comparing them. Its main weapon system is its torpedo system. At base, it's doing 30 damage per hit, with crit and anti-aircraft range. It's fairly basic. At base, it's doing 4,360 damage. For both ships, I've put 30 tech points into the either the missile or torpedo system. So we've boosted the Raliat's torpedoes to 38 damage plus 12, so 50 damage in total per torpedo. Duration 10 seconds, as it's firing 5 lots of 4 torpedoes, and it's got 2 of these, so that's quite a hunk of damage there. Cooldown 14 seconds and lock-on of 3 seconds. It's a pretty good little ship, 4 command points. It's also got evasion, I believe, increased ship evasion by 35%, which is pretty good, especially on a small ship. Its armor, you can increase or reduce the chance of it getting hit by missiles and torpedoes. I have put my remaining tech points into defensive upgrades just so that we could get these ships shooting for a little bit longer against their test subjects, because usually they're going to be protected by front row on other ships, so they're not going to just get pummeled by cruisers. And I wasn't really testing survivability either, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. And it's got this little cannon here, or cannon system with 3 generic cannons that doesn't really do a lot. So we don't need to worry about that. And now for the Mare Tranquillitatis. Its missile system is not its main system, surprisingly. Its main system is this cannon cross cannon system. Cross integrated cannon system. It's got 3 cannons with 25 damage each, shooting 2 shots every 7 seconds. It's okay for a frigate's cannon system. It's doing 1,285 DPM, but usually the weapon system in question is its Polaris missile system. We've got 30 tech points in here, as with the other, the Raliat. So we've boosted its damage to 70 from 60 and plus 22. Both of the weapons that we're testing have their modules maxed out to plus 30% damage. So it's shooting 3 shots over the course of 3 seconds, a cooldown of 9.1 seconds, and a lock-on of 4 seconds. Now, the fact that its cannon system is worth 1,285 damage, 1,285 damage, sorry, and the rest is its missiles, is a pretty big difference between the missile system of the Raliant and of the Mare Tranquillitatis. as we can see here, 2,738 damage for the missiles on the Tranquillitatis, and 5,005 on the Raliat. That's a pretty big difference. So that is something to bear in mind, is that the cannons of this ship do make up a hefty portion of its overall DPM, and its upgrades, like, it doesn't have anything special. Interception, it's a mid-row or back-row frigate if you get the strategy. It does have a strategy to be back-row, so if that works better with your fleet, then go for that. It's only 6 tech points. It's just something to bear in mind. Not all of its damage is coming from its missiles. It does have a cannon system there, but it doesn't have the same sort of level of firepower as its missiles. So let's get into the data. So to collect all the data, I've pretty much just grabbed all the meaningful battle reports for you guys, stuck them in my notes page, and labeled them. I've also got all the blueprints, screenshots of the ships that we tested against, and any systems that have abilities that we need to take into consideration. All of these are provided by NASA Mex, thank you to you, and there were 2 other people who also helped gather data, but I don't believe I have any of their battle reports in this document here. So thank you to you 2, and it's helped a lot. So let's get into it. First of all, we start off against no defensive abilities whatsoever, no evasion, no armor, nothing like that. Raliant pulls ahead quite a bit. We only needed to battle for 40 seconds, and the Raliant pulled out over 4,000 damage. Well, for the 2 of them. Most of these test fleets are 2, but when we get into the bigger ships, there's 3 of each, just to get a little bit more data. We then move on straight to destroyers. We all know that, well, we might not all know, that might be why you're watching this video, but Raliant pulls ahead against frigates pretty similar to how we're going to see with these cruisers, and I don't think there's a frigate that can get enough armor for the tide to change, and I will present that to you guys soon. But test 2 against the Ares, we have 20 armor and 37% evasion, 27% base, and another 12% from the upgrades here. So we can see the Raliant pulled ahead quite a lot, 10,000 versus 4,000 for the 2 Raliants versus the 2 Mare Tranquillitatis. It's quite a big difference. So yeah, so far up to 20 armor, the Raliant is the superior choice. So yeah. Test 3 against the Guardian, 20 armor and minus 30% hit rate from missiles. This is only missiles. Its situation awareness system does not reduce the hit rate from torpedoes. It will only reduce the hit rate from missiles, and we do see that when we are fighting it, it keeps itself alive for a little bit, so we get some more battle time. The Raliant dealing nearly 22,000 damage, and the Mare Tranquillitatis does nearly 7,000, so it does a third of the amount of damage, which is quite a big difference. This is still against 20 armor, so the Raliat still, well, made extra superior by the hit rate debuff of the Guardian. Against the Aldebaran, 38 armor. Here we've got some more armor, and we can see we've actually got 2 tests here. I'll go through them. For the first one, it goes for nearly 2 minutes. The Raliant's damage is reduced quite considerably. It's going from its 40 damage per torpedo, which for the previous 2 ships it's hitting at 20 damage per torpedo. Now it's doing 2 damage per torpedo. And the Mare Tranquillitatis was going from 82 damage per missile, I believe it was, down to not 2. It's still got quite a bit of damage going through the armor, which is good. So we can see here it's like starts pulling ahead, but the Raliant's damage is still just a little bit more superior against this armor of 38. We then go against the Mare Chaos, which is 30 armor, so 8 less than the previous, but it also has a little bit of evasion. And the Raliant is still the superior choice. It does nearly 5,000 damage more than the Mare Tranquillitatis. So far the Mare Tranquillitatis missile system doesn't really do a whole lot. But then against the KCC, which is 50 armor, we go to 3 of each ship. For the final, we did 3 of each for the Mare Chaos 2. Apologies for that. We got 3 of each for this cruiser too, and the Mare Tranquillitatis does come ahead against this heavier armor. It appears that once the armor breaches the damage that the Raliant can do, which was 40 damage per torpedo, once it breaches that, the Mare Tranquillitatis starts to come ahead, as it can start pushing damage through the armor, despite the massive number of shots that the Raliants are putting out. CAS, also 50 armor, so 2 tests against 50 armor, and we get the same results. The Mare Tranquillitatis pulling ahead of the Raliant. So, yes, the Mare Tranquillitatis is good against that, 40 to 60 or 70 damage armor target, sorry. And then we test against ST-59 Battlecruiser, 180 armor, and we can see just the sheer quantity of missile torpedoes that the Raliant can put out is superior to the Mare Tranquillitatis missile system. This is due to the Mare Tranquillitatis no longer having the ability to punch missiles through the armor. The armor is just going to stop 90% of the damage, as is the cap. I do talk about damage mechanics, which plays a massive role in this in another video, which I'll put in the video description below. But yeah, we can just see that as long as the Raliant is getting some damage through over the armor of the target, it's going to be doing more damage, at least at the 30 points that I put in. This pretty much just symbolizes upgrading them by farming pirates. Of course, the more points you put in, the more damage you're going to get out. Perhaps due to the Mare Tranquillitatis having significantly more upgrades available in its missiles and its cannon, significantly more investment could lead to much more damage, but I just don't have the resources or the ability to do that. I don't really use a lot of frigates in my fleets at the moment either, so I can't really level them up to that kind of capacity to see gold Mare Tranquillitatis versus gold Raliant or something like that. Although that would be cool to see, because then they'd both have all the cards on the table and you could really see how they compete. But for the most part, they're just not going to. The Tranquillitatis just won't be able to punch through the sheer number of torpedoes that the Raliant is able to put out. And I've done the math before. I'm pretty sure it's 40 torpedoes per cycle from memory. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a number around there. It's a lot of torpedoes, and they've all got crit chances and stuff. So yeah, it's just so if you're going against cruisers and stuff, or really heavily armored destroyers, then the Mare Tranquillitatis might be your better option. But in pretty much all other situations, especially as the meta is frigates, destroyer fleets, and most destroyers don't have armor above 40 or 50, the Raliant is just genuinely going to be the better choice. Of course, you can use both. I've got nothing against either of these two ships. I like them both. They're both pretty cool, but for the sake of data and optimization, the Raliat appears to be the better choice, unless you're, of course, versing those slightly heavier armor, the armor in the bracket of about 40 or 50 to 70 or 80. That is the prime time for this frigate to do some damage, if that's what you're looking for it to do. Of course, it will still do damage to any other target, just that's not its prime conditions, at least against this ship. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys. Any suggestions, anything you would like me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you next time. See ya!